Hello, it's a pleasure to announce the release of Update 4 for InTouch Edge HMI 2017. Here is a snapshot of the major implementations on this release. We're going to go into further details on the upcoming slides. First thing we're going to talk about is the improvements on our mobile access thin client. That's our HTML ready thin client. The biggest one of them is implementation of the localization. With the localization, we can dynamically switch languages and we can make use of all the translation features that we have on the product that were already available for our local viewer. Now they're all available for mobile access as well. In addition to this improvement, we implemented also support for sorting on the column on the alarm control object. Our checkboxes and radio buttons, they have an option called push like, where they look like push buttons, but they behave as those controls. Now they're available also on mobile access. And overall, we have improved a lot the performance, scalability, and stability. Talking about the improvements on our OPC clients, I'm going to first talk about the tag expansion. This feature is available for both UA and XMLDA clients. So the way it works is that on the server side, you can configure a structure with several members. And then on the client side, you can mimic that structure, creating a class with the same member names. Then you create a tag belonging to that class. So when you go to the client worksheet, all you have to do is to add only one line with the main tag name on the tag name side, and on the item, of course, the main item name. And then we will automatically map all the class members to the structure members that you have on the server side. Think about this, just one line and you're mapping all the members, right? That's pretty good because that's also lowering the risks of making mistakes when you're configuring one by one, and that increases the productivity. The other feature that we have added for our OPC clients is the array distribution. Same concept. So if you configure an array on the server, you can go back to our client worksheets and configure a tag that is an array from the same size, and just put one line and going to be talking to all the array positions from the server. On our security system, we have added now the capability of having local users being used also when you configure the project for LDAP, which means connecting to an Active Directory, for instance. So you configure the users first on local mode, and then you switch to what we call the LDAP mode, and you're going to still be able to, in addition to the users configured on the LDAP, to be able to log on using the users that you configure on the local mode. This increases a lot the flexibility for generic templates and for several of our OEM projects. So that's an enhancement of an existing feature. We just made it more powerful and more flexible. Our built-in function check is signed has also been enhanced again to make projects more flexible and even more secure. So we already had the function before where we check the electronic signature that is passed there, but now you can pass as an optional parameter a user and a password so we can authenticate directly on the script level. We had that feature using a user interface, but now we have that on script level with several benefits. So script level check, verification for sophisticated specifications on FDA 21 CFR Part 11, and also allowing some custom authentication. For instance, we have scripts where two users are going to have to enter the user and passwords to electronic sign before the script is executed. Now we are capable of doing that. And now, as part of our setup process, we are also installing two additional demo projects. In addition to our traditional PC demo on the exact same folder, now you have our embedded demo, which is more suitable for embedded runtimes, such as Windows Embedded Standard and also Windows Embedded Compact. And you have also one demo that we call the IoT demo, which is very suitable for IoT View presentations running on our platform agnostic runtime, IoT View on Linux, for instance, on a Raspberry Pi, and things like this. So this will allow anyone to play with those platforms using more suitable applications for them. Some of our latest cybersecurity enhancements, we ran a penetration test internally here. All the findings were addressed on this release. We continue on to address static code analysis issues that we find using check marks, and we are on the process of removing unsecured third-party legacy libraries, replacing by their latest versions or for a different library whenever possible. And here's a snapshot of the additional improvements that we made on the product. See, on the bottom we say we have implemented 104 work items, among them 77 bug fixes and 27 improvements. So on this slide we have only a small snapshot. So when you talk about stability and scalability, we have really improved the software to make it even more reliable when you run larger projects, when you have several hundreds of thousands of tags. So we implemented those improvements on the TCP/IP server and client side, on the OPC UA and XML clients as well. Then we resolve an issue with the driver task. We have that possibility to configure a tag to be scanned only when it is on a screen or always. And in some specific cases, we would configure a screen and it would continue reading. So we have resolved that issue. Dynamic rotation. So we have implemented the possibility of rotating linked pictures on the development side, and then that stopped working on the runtime when we implemented the dynamic rotation. That issue has been resolved, and a couple more improvements on mobile access. So when Windows 10 build 1809 came out, we had some systems where that wouldn't work. So we have changed it. Mobile access should work also on that newer Windows version. And also we have a built-in function called format that we didn't have all the possibilities on mobile access. We have resolved that gap, so now it's working as well. And again, as you can see, it is 104 work items total that were implemented on this release. With this, I would like to thank everybody that was involved on this release, and I really hope that you enjoy using our product as much as we enjoyed making it. Thank you very much.